What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Basem Hanna podcast. So today I want to talk about something that actually messes with me all the time, which is comparing myself to others. When my parents and I moved to Canada, we didn't have that much. And I was always wanting of what, first to start off as like what my friends had in school, and then it was like, what the people at work had that I didn't have, and then it was like, then social media came into play, and you could see, everybody's highlighting their successes, and it's like, oh man, I wish I had this, and oh man, I wish I had that. A lot of the time, I use it as fuel, right? But it can get extremely toxic. What people show, and people's outwardly displays of their own success. They never show you the grind. They show you the tip of the iceberg. They don't show you everything that it took to get there. It can create a false narrative where it's really easy to achieve success, or that you for whatever reason or another have to compare yourself to others. Today's podcast is about just staying focused and running your own race. And I'm actually using this podcast as a form of therapy to myself, because I'm going through it right now. 3 or 4 years ago, I made the decision to leave the cannabis world and to jump kind of with both feet into full-blown real estate development. This is typically a area or an industry and a section of the real estate industry that is reserved for uber wealthy people and generational families that have been doing this for forever, or institutional companies that are backed by endless dollars. But for my own motivations, I was like, you know what, I think that there's space to do this differently, and I want to get it done. And so I said, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do it. And I walked in with delusions. I was like, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna be at the top of the game. So here I am, 3.5 years into my first foray, this iteration of what I'm doing in real estate, which is buying raw land, taking it through an entitlement process, taking it through a development process, and then occupying the buildings. And I often find myself looking to my competitors or the people that I look up to and saying, man, how come them and not me? And how could I be better? Why am I not bigger? And then I have to bring it back. I'll say, dude, look at where you are from where you were 3.5 years ago. When I first started, I knew a lot less than I know now. I had a lot less contacts in the industry. I had nobody's respect because I didn't earn it. The reason I'm sharing this is because I'm almost positive that everybody goes through a version of what I'm going through right now. The development game for me has been difficult, but it is rewarding, and I've learned to love the struggle. And every obstacle that I face, I have learned to internalize it and found joy in trying to solve the problem instead of being upset that I couldn't solve it right away, or that there was an obstacle placed in my way that maybe wasn't placed in somebody else's way. To all of you entrepreneurs and anybody else out there that's swinging for the fences, it's okay to compare yourself to others as long as you're doing it in moderation. At the end of the day, it's your race. It's my race. All I need to do is compare myself to myself yesterday. Am I better than I was yesterday? Yes, that's great. If not, what can I do better? What can I improve? What do I need to change to make myself better for tomorrow? And it's those little steps, it's the little inches that you gain that make a big difference over time. What I do is my responsibility, and I should be proud of the things that I'm achieving today as compared to who I was yesterday. And you should be proud of what you're achieving today as compared to yourself yesterday, and not compared to anybody else. I have learned that is extremely unhealthy, and I continue to learn that lesson. It's not like I'm saying this and I'm going to walk away and be like, the old Basem used to do that and new Basem doesn't. No, I'm constantly preaching this to myself. I just thought it was important to share it with you because you're not alone. I go through it too. Everybody does. Even the people that I'm comparing myself to compare themselves to somebody that they wish they were, or they whatever. There's always a next rung to the ladder that you can achieve, but ultimately it's up to you to run your own race. So enjoy the process and don't get too upset when you're not where you think you should be. Just look at where you were and how far you've come and take pride in that. That's the podcast for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoy the journey.